one by one, starting with Mr. Manish Dikshit.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Indigo flight number. Sorry, but it's the boys and girls, whenever they speak about it, looks like it's Indigo always. So the topic that I'm going to speak about today is less is more. Now, a kind of a dangerous topic when you talk about it, because a lot of people over here might probably feel when we talk about less, it generally means minimalistic. But it's not true most of the times, because you need to know as a designer when we really need to stop. It's more of a relative term, and not everyone can probably accept that less is really more or not. So I generally leave it to all the designers out here to take a call whether it's really boring or no. So too much of everything is generally boring. So this, the story of a pea. So when you look at a pea by itself, it's one of the, I mean, a good piece of art that I look at it, but do you really want just that one piece of thing on your plate? I don't think any one of us are going to be ever satisfied seeing that. So I had this situation myself once when I was driving down to Goa. My daughter started loving this song called Starboy, which I also love. But after a particular time, she started playing it so many times that I started disliking it. So that's where it generally comes at how boring it should be or how boring you really look at it. Because most of the times, we do end up overdoing things. Like this is the best example of, why is the slide moving so fast? Sorry. So yeah, most of the times we generally look at overdoing things, and this is the best example of two brands, how they have created a subtle way of showing even a less element shown in the design expresses how good it is as an impactful design element. Yeah, you can go next, please. So I generally look at it, express yourself rather than just explaining the whole bit of it, because this is the best example of when you look at it. I hope most of you can relate to it. It's the spectacles of Mahatma Gandhi. So instead of expressing and showing the whole thing to the world, and in our case to our clients, this is the best way to express it. And luckily, if we are not Bappi Lahiri, I don't think so none of us will be as talented to use this image as an expression of less is more. So if you're creative enough, like as talented as Bappi Lahiri, I think that's where we can express and carry the whole element of the gold elements that he generally carries with himself. So one of the things is, as a design professional, if we don't understand when to stop, that's where it becomes a nuisance for all of us. Because sometimes overdoing a design also causes the situation where it starts getting boring. When it gets too loud, that's not something that we all would want to do. So, like my topic says, I'm not going to be boring all of you right now with all the images and the slides that is going on. So it's all self-explanatory for you to decide what is less and what is boring, according to you. So these are some of the sides of the projects that we have done. Not all of them are ours, but yes. In fact, just one image does not belong to the project that we have designed. So it expresses how less, how more you want to generally showcase. This is not our project, but would love to have that canvas on one of the projects in future. Yeah, next please. So this is an expression, what I feel is when you have a similar element. Now, a lot of you will probably think about this image to be a nice piece of art which you would probably want in your living room. But if you try to interpret that and use it in your projects in the right color and format, like this is one of our projects, and I leave it to you guys to decide how good is it as being used as a whole, or how much do you need to stop yourself in trying to express the forms and shapes. Next. So, okay, this is also one of the similar project where we used a form, and personally I feel it is too too much of a design that has been included there, but at the same time, if you use the proportion and scaling, that's where we generally enjoy that. So the best example I generally look at is A.R. Rahman's music. When it gets released for the first time, the song is not appealing to any one of us. So then the radio, they start bombarding the whole song to you again and again and again. That's where it starts making you feel interesting. So it's a whole concept of what you feel is comfortable. Yeah, next please. So unfortunately, the topic that I picked up, this was my choice from the list of topics that we're told to pick, and I thought this is one of the most controversial topic that any architect or designer could ever pick, because I know the minute I'm going to come down, people are going to throw, somebody was going to throw eggs at me when I was up there, and because it's a quite a relative term in terms of we as designers, people in the creative field, and our clients, when we try to give them what we feel is right or wrong. So this is one great example of one such project where I found it to be horrible. You know, this is you trying to show something less and trying to be creative. At the same time, it's just a piece of a metal block kept over there. Is it appealing to us? I don't know. It's a personal choice. That's where it generally happens, that whether we look at ourselves as a final designing point where our decision is final, or our clients who are going to enjoy it. So this is another good example of how a simple thing like a circle, hand-drawn circle, can be expressing good and bad. So this is an interesting feature which is there in my own office in the conference room. So this is a photograph of Kim Jong-un. I really love this man. And when you look at that single photograph, and when you multiply it in the table the way we have done the stamp size photograph, so you try to express the form. Can you pause this slide, please? So you can replicate that image and still make it less and not overdoing it. At the same time, you have the texture feel when you look at it from a long distance. So a lot of my clients, they generally ask me, why do you have this photograph there? I said, this is the question, but I'm waiting for you to ask me so that you forget about what you want to discuss to me about. So I have all the opportunity to go and grill them, and they forget to scream at us about the designs that we generally do for them. So yeah, so coming back to the main story of the P. So it depends on you, how do you want to use it, how you want to consume it, as a soup or a salad, or just boil it and eat it. Thank you.